Hello and welcome to the Engineering Influence Podcast. I'm Allison Schneider with ACEC and I'll be your host today. In this episode, AI, the unexpected collaboration catalyst in AEC, we are partnering with OpenAsset to explore how artificial intelligence is not just a tool for automation, but a surprising force for improving teamwork across traditionally siloed roles. We'll hear from two leaders, one from the technical side and one from marketing, about how AI is reshaping communication, workflow, and collaboration in the AEC industry. From bridging the gap between engineering precision and creative storytelling to redefining how teams work together on proposals and projects. This episode is packed with real-world examples and honest takes on what AI can and can't do. Let's start with introductions. Rachelle, you lead innovation efforts at OpenAsset, focusing on helping AEC marketers work smarter with technology. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm Rachelle. My background in AEC started 16 years ago for a very small architecture firm. I graduated to a large, big A, little E firm, and then I started consulting. And so I have worked all across the board with small, big, A, E, all of the specialty, like niche, everything you could possibly imagine in AEC. I have touched it at some point. And it's been a wild journey seeing all of the ways that we work similarly and the ways that we work different. And then watching technology evolve for the last 16 years has also been wild. I am old enough to have been using PageMaker before InDesign. And now we're in this age of AI, and I have jumped to the technology side to make sure that we are creating tools for our industry specifically that understand our industry specifically. So it's very exciting.
And we should say Rachelle Ray, she is the head of AEC Innovation at OpenAsset. I'm also joined by Jeff Visnic, coach speaker and electrical engineering director. Jeff, you've had a career steeped in engineering and now you coach professionals across disciplines. What's been your journey to get to where you are today?
Yeah, so I am still on the design side of the industry. So I've been doing that for about 25 years. Started as an entry-level electrical engineer and worked my way up to principal in charge of an office for a company. And now I'm the Southwest Regional Electrical Discipline Lead for DLR Group. And in addition to that, I do work with people in our industry, specifically coaching them, working with people on fear. And I don't think we walk around all day saying that we're afraid, but it shows up in a lot of the problems that we deal with our industry on a daily basis.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? How does fear show up?
It operates at a very subconscious level within us. And anytime we step outside of our comfort zone, so it's trying to protect us, and anytime we step out of our comfort zone or try something new, it's going to kind of show up and try to manipulate us back into our comfort zone. And so when you think of things that we have problems with, like work-life balance or stress and burnout or imposter syndrome, it's kind of at the middle of that because we don't behave in a way that would be in our best interest because of what we think is going to happen if we do. So it's not something that we can get rid of, but we can learn more about it. And when we learn more about it, then we get to decide what to do instead of letting it decide for us.
I imagine the influx of AI can make people pretty uncomfortable about how to use it well, how to get comfortable with it. Can you talk a little bit about how collaboration between subject matter experts and marketers looked before AI? How were things operating?
Yeah, I think it was very siloed. I think even on the design side of things are still very siloed, even with the incoming AI. But, I think we don't understand each other that well. And we obviously grew up in different worlds. Rachelle's extremely creative. And, I think engineering can be creative too. It's a different kind of creativity. And so I think that lack of understanding amongst each other is what kind of gets in the way and keeps us siloed.
I agree. I'm glad you corrected yourself and said that engineering is creative, because I totally agree. It's creative I don't understand, but it's definitely a creative of its own sort. And I feel like pre-AI, the relationship between marketing and technical staff has been very transactional. It's very much, I need this thing from you. Can you do it for me? And then if it doesn't happen, I get upset. And if it does happen, I'm like, oh, well, that was good enough. So yeah, there was kind of, like Jeff said, not a big understanding of what the ask was or the reason for the ask. So there are a lot of holes and kind of gaps in that collaboration between us.
I would agree on that. There is a strategy behind marketing, even if to the more technical folks it may seem nebulous. There is data, there is strategy, but sometimes speaking the same language can be difficult. You come from very different professional languages. There's marketing speak versus engineering precision. I think there are some misconceptions about those being maybe at odds when in fact there's a lot of overlap, although we may use different words to say the same thing. How has AI helped bridge potential communication gaps? Talk about some of the ways you like to use it in your work. Jeff, you want to take that one first?
Sure. I use it anytime I don't understand something. So, even if it's a code interpretation, I'll go and look up and see what it says, and then I go verify if what it said was correct or made sense, or if I need to revisit it or ask it a different question. So when it comes to marketing and things like that, it helps me cross the aisle and kind of understand more what Rachelle is looking for when she asks me questions. And I think, I don't want to speak for her, but I think it helps her interpret what we're saying too, because a lot of times what we say, may not. I think there's an art to engineers being able to explain things in a way that other people can understand, and not a lot of them are very good at it. So it definitely helps with that.
It does. I use it in a similar way to prepare for interaction with a technical staff member, especially if I'm not an engineer, I'm not an architect, but I do have to be able to articulate what I'm asking for and not just say, I need you to write me a technical approach. But if I can use AI to better understand that technical approach and maybe brainstorm some questions that I can ask of the technical staff that I'm talking to kind of break it down a little bit better, or have them clarify something for me, that helps a little bit with making the ask less of a do this for me and more of a conversation on what do you think of this, and maybe I can take some of the load off if you'll just talk it through. But yes, to Jeff's point, sometimes I do get write-ups back and I have no idea what you're trying to communicate with me, and I'll drop a sentence in AI and be like, can you explain this? Does this actually make sense, or do I need to edit this? And then I don't have to constantly be asking them for clarification, so I can take some of that lift off.
I find that there are a lot of acronyms that come up. Even if you've been around for a long time, there still seems to be a new one every month or two that I've got to research.
But especially if you're working with federal or state market sectors where it is very acronym based.
You talked about the collaboration a little bit, and it seems like that may be one place that AI can't displace that actual conversation from taking place. What are some of the things you dislike about AI? What are those areas that still require the human touch? Where is a human more effective? How are you seeing that work? Yeah,
I think so much of our industry is relationship based, whether it's firm to firm or even individual to individual. I spend a lot of time building up a relationship with the technical staff so that they trust me when I ask for something, so that I have credit with them, that it's not just I'm asking for this thing because I actually need it and not because I can't find it even though they've already done it before, or I'm lazy, or whatever excuses come up. I don't think AI can really replace that yet. I don't think AI will ever be able to replace that. Relationships are very human. And in marketing, there is always going to be that element of human appeal and emotion. So that, for me, on the marketing side, is where I very much see that stays in our hands.
I agree with Rachelle. I did a short stint as an owner's rep as well for a couple of years, and the people whose proposals were often the most successful were the ones that knew the client the best. And I don't think that AI can go out and get to know the client and what works for them and what doesn't work for them and what their concerns are and what their fears are. That does take a human being to actually go out and have those conversations and build that relationship with them. And so I don't see that being replaced. Like Rachelle said, it is a very relational industry. I mean, we want to work with people that we like working with, that we enjoy spending a lot of time with, because we do spend a lot of time together. And so I just don't see it supplanting that.
Agreed. And as an extension of that, sorry, Allison, just one more thought. To credit our technical staff, like their understanding of the systems and how they relate to the building users, that I don't think AI will be able to ever emulate either. Like there's a reason that I need them. I need an engineer to be writing things for me, because I could get on an AI, like I could deep research things and understand like how the systems come together, or, how something would be built technically, but I will never be able to get it to translate that to the why for the user, like why you would do something a certain way. And I wouldn't even know where to begin on that without having a background like Jeff would. So I think that personal experience and extensive personal knowledge is also something that AI just won't ever be able to take away. So credit to y'all. We need you for proposals forever and ever. Sorry.
Lucky us.
Well, I think we get to a good point that there's a lot of context that comes with these proposals. AI doesn't have the backstory, the personalities. It's not looking around corners to anticipate what questions they're going to have. That still comes from the relationships on the ground. It may be able to get some of the specifics right, the technical side of things, but there is a human element that's needed.
Well, I even when you think about who's reading the proposals, it's a person, and maybe that changes as AI grows. You see AI conducting interviews and doing things like that with people. So maybe there is a first round of vetting that happens within AI, but it's still a person who's making the decision and picking the team that they want to work with. So.
And one thing we spend a lot of time on here is connecting the dots between what the technical side means to the community. Why is this project important? Who is it helping? And that, I think, can also get lost in when AI is helping. It's not as focused because it's not human, and living in the community, understanding what these projects, what it was like before to what it can be now, and what it can be even into the future.
Absolutely. There's so many stories built in to what we do and why we do it and who is involved. And that, like you said it so perfectly, Allison, I don't know why I'm re-summarizing, but like AI often loses that context, and it just isn't quite there yet to understand what's most important without us really prompting it and telling it, like, don't lose this core piece. This is very important.
Those anecdotes are so important, especially for human connection. When we're reading about a project, at least for those of us on the communication side, we're looking for that human element in addition to the amazing engineering that's going to move forward.
And I think the other thing that can't be replicated is the passion that, somebody went into architecture because they wanted to have this big impact on the community. And, whether it be through people or through a building or, whatever it is that they want to have their impact through. I don't think that's replicated either by AI. It just doesn't have the passion for what we're doing.
No. That's a great point. Rachelle, I know OpenAsset is launching a new product soon. Can you tell us about how it was designed to enhance collaboration between marketing and technical teams? What kind of impact do you hope it'll have on the AEC space?
Yeah, so we are super, super excited to launch Shred AI. Jeff and I have both had a hand, actually, in shaping this product. The OpenAsset team has been very dedicated to understanding both the marketing side and our pain points, and also understanding the technical side and their pain points and where we kind of miss each other traditionally. So the idea with this AI is to help very quickly surface content for marketing so that we're not constantly ankle biting at our technical team members, and to add collaboration tools that allow us to quickly iterate on that content so that we can get to the meat and the strategy and the important stuff. And Jeff can stay on his billable projects and I can do my strategic marketing and we can write really great proposals. So very excited for that. Jeff, I don't know if you had anything to add from your perspective.
The thing I'm most excited about, one thing that when Rachelle and I first started talking about this, I don't think she understood how scary it was to get the blank page.
No.
And, here's this question, fill out this question and answer it. And, fear we talked about would show up and I would procrastinate that task because I didn't want to do it or didn't know how to do it. And so then I would be behind all the time. So I think it'll help fill in that gap and not have to start with the blank page. And hopefully that helps things get done a lot faster.
Yes. Partner for both of us. It's going to be amazing.
I think that's a great explanation of where AI is right now. It's helping you get away from that blank page, giving you a starting point. And if both teams can collaborate, you're just going to make that starting point even stronger.
Exactly.
We're excited to see what happens with this. You'll have to come back and tell us how it goes.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
This has been another episode of the Engineering Influence Podcast. Thanks for listening.